So, Shipra, if you would like to come on stage, thank you very much.
Check. Yeah, everything is fine. So, hi everyone, I'm Shipra, and it's a pleasure to be here today. So I hope you are still full of energy after all the tech talks. So I'm gonna take you all away from giving you a little bit of breather from all the tech stuff that these lovely women have talked about, and we're gonna dive into the equally important and the crucial part, which is goal setting. It's not as technical as it sounds, but it's a crucial, important part for you to unlock the growth in innovation and the technology. So next slide. So we're going to talk about the goals. When we say goals, what do you mean by that? How I define goals is like the kind of guiding stars that can help you navigating through the vast innovation, like vast ocean of innovation and technology, and that can help you getting to what you want to achieve, right? So whether you are kind of scaling mountain of code, you want to become an architect, you want to become a technology expert, whatever you want to do, the goals can be your true compass. And why I'm saying that is because for me in my journey, goals can, like they've been like the main compass for my growth. Wherever I am here today, I've learned so much, and every single step that have changed my career from, I've come from the testing background to where I am today. Everything is written down as a goal. What I wanted to do, how I wanted to do, in what year. It's all written in my Google Doc, every single step. So this is how it's like, when you define goal, it's not just something that you think that you want to do, but it's up to like how you craft it and how you achieve it. So what we're going to do here is now we're going to do a little bit of mental exercise here. Don't worry about that, it's not scary. So what I want to just you think about, or maybe if you have, write it on your paper, or you can just say it. What were your biggest win last year? It could be 1, 2, 3. What do you think, and how do you define the success that your 2023 was very successful? Could it be a professional or personal? And if you don't mind sharing it, I would like to hear it, like anything that you think was very nice and you feel very proud of it. Anyone?
Buying first home.
Oh wow, nice. Anybody else?
Yeah, I wasn't laid off because tech was looking rough year last year. I wasn't laid off and I was promoted to senior.
Well done, thank you. Well, I've been laid off this year, so we'll come to that. So this is the thing, right? No matter kind of whether you have achieved it or not, but there must be something you still want to continue, you still want to do. You might have tried it, there are some circumstances, there are some issues, there are some maybe setbacks, things didn't happen, things don't go well. We all get it, this is fine, right? But the plan is how to move it forward, like how to do it forward. 92%, can anybody guess what this number is?
92% of people do not have goals.
Wow, you have read the book. So yes, 92%. This is from a research from a University of Scranton in US, which says every year, 92% of the people who set goals never actually achieve them. When I saw that number, I was like, thank God, like, you feel good, right? Like you said something and you feel like, wow, this feels good, right? In a way, 92%, like quite a big number, where you feel like, okay, you are not the odd one out, like you tried something and you failed. But the best part here is, the important thing is, who the hell are those 8%, right? You want to find them and see what exactly they are doing that you are not able to do it. So I'm curious about that 8%. What do they do differently that this 92% cohort cannot? I'm part of that 92%. I decided to lose 5 kilos last year, and I'm here 5 kgs more. That's the story, right? So how do we get to that 8%, right? This is where we want to get to. So 3 things we need here to be that 8%. We're gonna explore that a little bit. First thing is the clarity, confidence, and the commitment. When you say clarity, it means You can have those goals in your mind, but you need to absolutely crystal clear what exactly is that I want to achieve. What that career path looks like. I want to be an architect, how I'm gonna do it. Every single thing you need to have a clear idea. You can't be in that vagueness in your mind and say, maybe that I think that's the right route for me. Maybe I'm gonna do this. Maybe not this year, next year. You need to cut that crap, literally. Literally need to cut the crap and write it down. Like writing helps. You have to write it down. Second thing is the confidence. Like if you have a second thought of like, I don't think I'm gonna make it, or maybe it's too hard for me, you need to build that confidence. Without the confidence, nothing matters, right? Third thing is the commitment. How many you have your calendar booked for yourself, which says, I'm investing 10% of my time in my goals? Check your calendar, I can check it if you wanna share it, but commitment is very important. If you're not putting time and effort to work on your goals, nothing's gonna happen. So always remember, like I'm just doing like right now is like a mental conditioning to actually get to those frameworks and stuff that we're gonna talk about. Because there are like lots of frameworks, we can write it up, but until you have these sort of mental awareness, nothing's gonna move. And next is, what do you not want? As I said, clarity. You could have a clarity like I want to be a CEO, that's my goal. But how I'm gonna get there, how I'm gonna work towards it, what's my strategy to get to that stage? If I don't have a strategy, it means my goal is vague, even though it's clear like I want to be that, right? So vagueness, cut that. Second is multitasking. Not saying that we can't have many goals, we can have many goals, but you need to take one step at a time, one goal at a time, and work on it like your ass off, like you have to work on it. Procrastination is the third one, where you say, I'm gonna do this next year, probably next year, maybe this is not my year. I'm too busy, my 9-to-5 job is just eating my all time, I have no time and capacity. You have to stop doing the delay and you have to work on it. So, procrastination is your biggest enemy for your growth. Cut that. Then we talk about this nice fancy term. We call it BHAG. So if, example, like when we're talking about vagueness, it's like, what's that big aspiration you have? Like when I'm like at the age of 40, I wanna be this. Like any long-term goal, or somebody want to be like, I wanna have my own startup when I hit this age, or in 2027, I want to have my own company, something like that. I'm just putting the ideas together. Any of that kind of a big goal, like aspiration, we call it like BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goal. So until you chop it down so that you can eat it, it's not gonna move. It will eat you up. It will eat you up, thinking like I'm not gonna do it, I'm not doing any useful in my life, right? So if you have that kind of aspiration and you're so desperate about it, do it. You have to break it down. You have to put yourself in a position where you can set some very tough targets, I would say very challenging milestones along the way to work towards it. You need to have that mapping on a paper, whatever that looks like, fancy tool. I just do it like on a Google Doc. What do I want to do? How do I break it down? In what year? In what month? Even quarter by quarter, like what I am doing to meet that goal. So you need to cut that BHAG into small chopping like bites, right? And you need to also ask questions like, when I say this BHAG, is it right for me? First thing, right? Am I really excited about it? Do I want to 100% commit for it? Is it too complex that I need to further simplify it? Or is it too easy for me that it's not my BHAG? Actually, I'm just, exaggerating. So find your BHAG. Second I want to talk about is growth, right? So when we say we want to set up goals, it's because we want to grow. And growth is different for every single person, right? And it comes in many forms. These are the forms, right? So you want to grow because you want growth because you want to have like a new job. You want to win in some areas. You want to go for some certification. You want to level up. You want to have a work-life balance. You want to have better skills to lead your teams. Whatever that goals looks like, the growth comes in many forms. So whatever the growth means for you, it's up to you. But main thing that you have to remember is, if you do not focus on this goal-driven mindset, like your mental model is not, you're not going through this goal setting, your growth is stopped. It's not gonna take you any further. So you need to just focus on that. And to be honest, this, when we say like goal-driven mindset, it's like a mental journey. It's not straightforward, it's fucking hell. I'll tell you how. I've been there, so so imagine like we are saying like we should have a goal. Now we say, oh, you have a goal, I have a goal. And it looks like very straightforward, undefinite, like indefined timeline or indefined timeline, I've said it, and I'm gonna go through it. In my mind, people are saying you should have a goal, I have a goal. Very nice, I've defined it, it's on my paper. But it actually looks like this. So you set a goal, then you started to actually think, yeah, I have a goal, I have to work about it. Then in your mind, at a certain point, you start doubting yourself, like, I don't think it's the right thing, but I'm gonna do it. Then you go to the learning phase. You keep learning, nothing is happening, you fail again. Then you upskill yourself, then started working, and then you're feeling lost again. You started to get it, there is a bit of struggle, and then you finally get it. But this is the life cycle, right? Like this is what you need to do. So when you even write it on the paper, in your mind, it's not straightforward. It's like a spiral that's going. And that's what those 8% people do, right? They do not stop in the middle. They start from here and they go to the end. So if we have to break that cycle, we have to get to the end, to this cycle, because half of that 92% people, they just stop somewhere in the middle. Maybe thinking like, that's not for me, I cannot do it, it's so boring, I don't think I can achieve it, whatever like negative thoughts that come into your mind. But that's what I said. Before you start, you have to have absolute clarity in your mind, like I'm gonna go for it, I'm gonna commit for it. So yes, then now we're gonna talk about when you have that kind of a clarity, like this is the mental modeling we need to develop. Let's talk about the focus. So we are talking about STEM, we are talking about technology, and more in the professional context. There are lots of frameworks available, like where you could see, how do I start? Where do I want to set my goals? I use this like a simple ring, called ring, you can circle, whatever it is, like a framework, right? So what are these 3 categories, or there can be many more, that are useful for us to set ourselves in the technology space? So I define it like the technical capabilities, right? If you wanna like build your career in the technology, your technical capabilities is the epicenter, it's the core, right? Until you gain and improve what you do, where your skill set are, rest of the things doesn't matter. Like if you wanna grow in your career, you wanna be X or Y, the technical capability is your epicenter. Like you need to have absolute understanding of your skill set, like whether it's coding, whether it's a data architect, data analysis, designing, whatever it looks like, technical skill set as the most. Then the second layer is interpersonal skills. People think that the technical skills are the paramount of whatever you do, but interpersonal skills are equally important. So you cannot overlook it. If you're trying to improve yourself in your leadership track, or you wanna grow further, interpersonal skills are equally important. Like how you're gonna communicate your ideas to the stakeholders, how you're gonna have buy-in from your stakeholders, things like that. Like this is like a very important skill, soft skill. So you need to focus on that. So if you wanna divide it, I would say 50-50%, like you wanna focus in here first. Once you develop that persona, the third thing is the biggies, right? Like the career layer, where you're like setting the goals to get promotion, to get a new job, to have a career move. I'm thinking to become an architect now, because when we said it, so probably like what would it take me to take that career change? I need to develop these 2 areas, right? So technical thing or non-technical, we're gonna talk about it. So this is how you can define, like if you're struggling to think, where do I start? Just break it down, technical, interpersonal, and career. What do I want to do? Career change, that normally comes into like the longer span. It could be a long-term goal, but in the short term, what do I need to do? What skill set do I need to do first? Work on that. And then after the focus, there's another element that's very, very important. And I'm gonna read this out. It says alignment. So the psychologist Ken Sheldon and Tim Kaser have found that people who are mentally healthy and happy have a high degree of vertical coherence among their goals, and that is high level goals and low level goals, short term and long term, all fit together well, so the pursuing one short term goal advances the pursuit of the long term goals. So what does it mean exactly? Like, you could say like, I have to build this programming skill, I have to do that. But the point is, why are you doing it, right? You need to have a short-term perspective to map it to the long-term perspective. And how does it look like? It looks like this. So look at this pyramid here. So what we're talking about here is the mission, right? Mission is basically nothing like what are you trying to do? But look at this as a longer term perspective. What do you want to be? Vision is like what the world will look like when you're there, right? Then strategy and plan, which is more about what's your plan to achieve it? What are the strategical ideas that you're gonna implement? When I talked about I'm gonna grow into the technical skill set, I wanna improvise my interpersonal skill set, that kind of a strategy comes here. And out of those strategy, then you define some goals to measure the progress, how I'm going. Then you define the roadmap, which is basically nothing but to achieve those goals, what I'm gonna do, a set of initiatives, set of certification, any activities or action plan that goes here with a timeline. And the task is like the very basic unit. What is that you can start now, right? No procrastination. So you can actually have this kind of sketching in your board, Miro board or whatever the Figma or whiteboard you do, or even like a Google Doc, start writing it up. Like down the line after 5 years, what I want to do, what would it look like for me, and then work forward. So this is called like alignment. And here I'm just showing like an example of what would it look like. Just, it's an imaginary, like for example, as mission wise, you want to say like, I want to position myself as both a front leader, forefront leader, and an enabler in the tech industry, right? So you are here today, that's your mission, and that vision is like leading innovation and empowering tech industry excellence. So example for this strategy is gonna be, same as I'm taking that from the framework, is like enhancing my technical skills, landing a new job in the big tech company, improving interpersonal skills, and while doing so, improving my networking and fostering a supportive professional community, right? So you define that strategy. There is nothing wrong. By the way, there is no, it's a kind of thing like people say like, my strategy is wrong, or that strategy didn't work out. There is no guarantee your strategy will work, right? Then you will define it new, because there's no right and wrong answer. But this is because this is what you think that you want to do it. This is your plan. So you want to plan this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And then to get to this, now you will assess, when I say like enhancing technical skills, what is that technical skill? What do I want to focus on? Then you say, for example, I want to master my Python skills over the next 3 months, right? Then here you will say, oh, I think I cut that off. But one goal you will set it up here, like I want to join Google, for example, down the line in next 2 years. Goal third, enhancing my comm skills by public speaking over the next 3 months. And here you say, I'm gonna network 50 plus professionals for fostering relationship and collaboration. So this is like a basic example that you could think of. These goals are kind of like very high level idea of how you can pursue a goal setting in your surroundings, whatever is relevant for you. However, if you look at these goals, there's no outcome attached to it, right? These are just, again, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. But without a tangible outcome, the goals are just goals, they're not gonna move. So for that, there's another framework that I will just present here. And I think Rajni has mentioned that she was trying to implement the OKR and didn't go through. I think she was right, saying OAK has been the most powerful framework, has been proven in the business industries. The companies use it for their goal setting to move their KPIs, and it was quite popular. It came through Google, and now Netflix, Microsoft, Twitter, they've been using it, and it has proven, I think productivity, their business outcome has been improved like around 60%. So companies use this OKRs. At FitXR, I have launched the OKRs for the business strategies, and we've got like 85% adoption rate across the business. And it took us like almost a year to get to the point where we wanted to be for the goal setting. When we say goal setting, it means every department and every individual was working through these frameworks to define their individual goals, department goals that are attached to the company objectives and company goals. So this framework has that power to do it. So when I was doing this kind of a research and implementing that framework at FitXR, I started using it 3 years ago for my own growth designing as well. So it's not just for the businesses, this framework can be used for your personal goal setting as well. Why? Because it's not just those terms, like the previous example we said, this is my goal. But here is the change here. When you define the goal, you need to define the key results for that. When you say key result, that has to have a tangible outcome. It has to be a metric, it has to be a number, or it has to be a percentage, like that, right? So you define, I want to do X, and the success, I will measure it through these key results. I will do X, and that number will improve by X percentage. These many things will change. Anything, I'll give you an example, but this is the idea. Anything you define as a key result has to have a metric attached to it. So there's no fluffiness, there's no vagueness, absolute what you want to move, and you track it. And then with the key results, you have like initiatives, which is like your action plan. In order to get those key results, this is what I'm gonna do, this is what I'm gonna move, things like that, the roadmap. So here, I think, there are some examples that I wrote that you can relate what it means. So for example, if I'm saying mastering Python programming skill over the next 3 months, it's like, I'm gonna complete 3 Python programming projects of increasing complexity within next months. These are just examples, but I'm trying, you need to focus on these numbers. Like you have to complete 3 projects, right? The next one is, and you want to achieve a score of like at least 90%. There's no right and wrong, you are setting yourself a high target here. You might say like, I wanna achieve 80%, which is absolutely fine. But that's up to you, what you want to set your target for, right? Second example, for example, enhancing AI skill, buzzword, to increase productivity and reducing coding time over the next 3 months. How I'm gonna do it? I'm gonna integrate 2 AI libraries in my system to improve my productivity. Second, I would capture and see how much time I have decreased the coding time after integrating those APIs. So the point here is, you could just put in your goals like, yeah, I'm gonna use AI in my work, right? But how are you measuring it? Is it working for you? Is it not working for you? What is it? So you need to define that and you need to track it. Is it actually working? There might be a case that KR is not working for you, so you change it. You don't change the goal, but you change the tactic. You implement it. There are more examples like that, like communication skills, as we discussed before. So if somebody struggles with the communication, has no voice in the meetings, being very quiet, and you want to improve on yourself, you could set your goals like this. And the key results you would want to see is like, you can ask your peers and supervisor like, how I am doing in my meetings. If you get 80% positive feedback, you've made some improvements, or you might not get any feedback, which is okay, but then you will change your approach. And then deliver at least 2 presentation or reports in meetings with the delivery rate above 80%. These are just examples that I want to show, like how you can define your key results. And you might not get these key results right at the first time. You might have to keep iterating to understand your progress, how they're working for you. There's another example here for like, if you want to build your skill set as a best communicator, probably you are a blogger or you are a writer, you could have things like, I want to increase the audience reach and engagement on my blog, and what would you do to that? So they're like different examples, like technical, non-technical, how you can define these goals through this OKR framework. Yeah. So I think this is more of like the technical part of that. Like you have goals, but these are the frameworks how you want to define it and how you want to start initiating it. So I think at the end, I'm gonna wrap it up, but I think we are almost the time, right? Yeah. Yeah, so I think the main thing I wanna say as a wrap up is like, this quote, I really like it. I really resonate with it. It's like, your plan doesn't work, it's fine, change the plan, but never the goal. I've made redundant this month on 16th of March. So my plans have changed, kind of, because the goals that I'm pursuing right now might not make it. There is a setback, but the point here is I'm not gonna change my goal. I'm still pursuing for them. So how I bounce back, how I reset my goals, how do I make adjustment in my plan? That's the key. So anything that you're doing here right now, whatever the goals you're setting for yourself, last year, this year, if it doesn't work, it's fine. You just have to readjust your plan and then push it forward. I think that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.